Hello and welcome, folks. Back again, DJ here, and you are very welcome indeed. So please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It's totally free, doesn't cost you a penny, nor a cent, not even a rupee. It's totally free to subscribe, so please do so. And also, press the like button. And comments are always welcome. Do believe that. I do like reading your comments. Okay, so there's been a great deal of anger when it was revealed that 155 London police officers were suspended from duty are costing £7 million a year to keep them at home doing nothing, and we're still paying them. It's costing £7 million a year. These new figures show that Scotland Yard and the City of London police forces spent around £581,250 a month, every month, on staff ordered to stay away from work while they're being investigated for criminal activities. Yes, the police force, our police force in London. Now, campaigners are hitting out at the estimated £7 million a year it's costing to keep the record 155 police officers in London alone suspended on full pay over alleged wrongdoing. The allegations listed against those accused of criminality in public office include a range from sexual misconduct to corruption. John O'Connell is the chief executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, and he said taxpayers will be disgusted to see millions of pounds going on police officers suspended from duty with accusations of committing egregious acts, in some cases for years on end. This £7 million a year, it continues because it takes so long to get the disciplinary hearings. Why does it take so long? Well, I don't know. That's the short answer. They don't know, really. They say, they're overdone. But, there's so many police officers out that are not out on the streets, isn't there? Not solving crime, but committing crime, it seems. Oh, yes. Okay, so while disciplinary proceedings drag on for some of the most horrific crimes, households are left footing the bill for officers to sit at home on full pay. Chief, let me just sort this out for a moment. I don't want to misquote. It's a very important issue, and I don't want to misquote anyone. So let's see. Police chiefs and ministers. This is... sorry, I'm messing this up, aren't I? John O'Connell, yes, the chief executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, said police chiefs and ministers must urgently reform this broken system so that officers' waiting results from appalling misconduct cases are resolved quickly and taxpayers are no longer left funding such outrageous waste. I can but only agree with him. The Daily Mail, yes, the Daily Mail first reported the 750 UK officers, now they're in London, as I say, are on so-called gardening leave at a cost of £2.6 million every month, each and every month, £2,600,000. Now, these 750 UK officers, that's up 5% on the 711 suspended last year, and more than treble the 225 recorded as being suspended in 2022. From 2022, 225 officers suspended. Today, 750. It comes after the Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner Matt Twist, what a name, Matthew Twist, I suppose, voiced frustration at having to pay disgraced Commander Julian Bennett for 5 years while a disciplinary procedure dragged on. 5 years for a disciplinary procedure on the police commander. Commander Bennett was suspended in 2020 after failing to take a drug test on drugs while on duty, a commander of all the police. He was fired in 2023, So that was 3 years later it took for the tribunal to dismiss him, but get this, but reinstated after initial decision. The initial decision was squashed. He was reinstated 3 years later, only to be sacked again after a second hearing this year. Being paid. Now, you're going to be amazed at his pay and how much he's going to get. Because although he's been dismissed, now he's still entitled to his pension and a lump sum. Now, get these figures because they're mind-blowing. They're mind-blowing. Because he's already turned 60, Commander Bennett will be entitled to a pension lump sum. He'll be handed over a lump sum. £400,000. £400,000 lump sum, plus an index-linked monthly payment of half his final salary, which was £159,000. And let's face it, for 5 years he hadn't been earning it. He'd been sitting at home. So he will get a pension of £80,000 a year. So he gets a lump sum of £400,000 and every year £80,000. And he refused to take a drug test. His case was estimated to have cost the taxpayer more than £1.5 million. Why? 5 years of investigation and it cost £1.5 million. Why? He refused. Now get this. Assistant Commissioner Twist, Matthew Twist, he said he was frustrated that it took 5 years for them to get rid of him, but he said, and I'm quoting him, "This should have been a simple matter," noting that Bennett never disputed he refused a lawful order to take a drugs test. He said, "No, I'm not going to take it." Oh, well, we got to investigate. Did he say it? And he's saying, I did. Can you believe the incompetence of these civil servants? They're not very civil, are they? Okay. Now, so Matthew Twist, he went on to say, "I am sure Londoners will be outraged as we are at the utter waste of public funds spent paying a senior officer to sit at home, suspended and not to work." Around 145 members and 10 from the City of London force are suspended. Now, do you remember Met Firearms Officer Wayne Couzens is 52. He's serving a whole life's prison service for the kidnap, rape and murder of Sarah Everard in 2021. When pension contributions and NI, National Insurance contributions, are added to the bill, it is thought each case costs around £45,000. Why? A Force spokeswoman, there's always a Force spokesman in that, said, "We continue to take action if our officers' behaviour falls below the high standards we expect." Well, you don't take action quick enough, do you? She continues, any decision to suspend an officer is taken by a senior officer, following very careful consideration of all the circumstances, including the risks, managing the risks to the officer himself or herself that's accused, managing the risks to the public whilst they're being suspended, and the wider metropolitan area. This process of suspension is governed by national police regulations set by the Home Office. Civil servants. Whether an officer can continue to work with restrictions as necessary is always our first consideration. Can he work with certain restrictions? These rules also dictate specific criteria about when and why an officer's pay can be stopped, and the circumstances in this case do not meet that threshold. So the circumstances do not permit them to deal with those 160 odd police members in London alone. Even when suspended, regulations mean they are suspended on full pay except in very specific circumstances. End of quote from a force spokesperson, spokeswoman. Do you know, it's a police service. This is what they forget. It's always the police force. Police are not allowed to force the public. Well, they shouldn't be allowed to force the public. We pay their wages via our taxes. They're not a force. They're a service. They're there to serve. Well, they claim they belong to the King Charles, so they're there to serve the sovereign, and the sovereign is there to serve us. So they are there to protect and serve the public. They are not a police force. Once we get rid of this idea of they're a force, perhaps we can get the training adjusted, that they realise they're not there to force us to do anything. They're there to protect us from criminals and not to be criminals themselves. Again, I say to you, your comments are extremely welcome, but please press that subscribe button. Now, I point out, you may have already been subscribing. My subscriptions are very low, but in February, I posted a post regarding my grandson being attacked by a larger girl and filmed by a homosexual boyfriend. My grandson was 11 years of age, and she attacked him with his own shoe, which had been pulled off him, and she hit him in the face several times in the video, and he had to go to the dentist because he damage to his teeth. He did not retaliate. He did not. He said, she was a girl. I didn't retaliate. She hit him several times in the face and then threw his shoe away when the school bus arrived. They were school children. They were older school children, obviously. They were 15 rather than my grandson being 11 and bigger and stronger. And they threw the shoe away. While he went to get his shoe back, they got on the bus, the school bus. I believe he did get on the bus. The homosexual boy filmed it all. I put that film on YouTube. YouTube cancelled it, told me to delete it or I'd be face sanctions. It did. It offered me a course to follow their regulations. I didn't do it. I was given what I thought was a 90-day suspension, not suspension, I was allowed to post, but you weren't allowed to contribute, you weren't allowed to comment, you weren't allowed to subscribe, and I thought it had finished in August, but I found out that no, because I hadn't done the course, that 90-day had been carried on. So I've now completed the course, and I'm not going to be allowed to. My sanctions now continue until the 11th. I believe it's the 11th of November. So you may be subscribing, you may be commenting. I'm just not seeing them because YouTube are censoring and stopping me receiving them. So I will continue, and I hope you will continue to make your comments known and will subscribe to the channel. It's a very, very sad thing for me that I'm being stopped from getting through to you all, or if I get through to you all, that you are not being allowed to get to me. So do continue, please. Do offer your support. But in the meantime, make your comments known, and we'll see if we can get enough comments to ensure that we communicate together. So until the next one, thank you for your support. Bye for now. Be safe, be good, and goodbye from D8. Bye-bye.